Good evening, everybody. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, dogs and cats everywhere. I am so glad you have joined my channel and stopped by to hear some weather. So I just wanted to let you know how much I do appreciate you and wanted to apologize for being absent for a couple of days. As most of you know, I have not had power. But let's talk about this storm and see what we ended up with here. So, as a quick recap, I'm not bragging, but I am just really pleased at how well behaved this thing was. The models talked about it for days on end and showed what it was going to do, and it worked out just right. Everything happened just as the models predicted that it would do. I'm pleased. It turned out good. So, in my house, I ended up with 6 inches of snow for this system. Not too terribly bad. Now, that's not counting the little fine stuff that ended up on top of that. That was another inch and a half to 3 inches, give or take just a little bit there, maybe two. I didn't actually officially measure it because it was blowing around a bit. I couldn't really tell. So, anyway, we ended up with 6 inches beforehand, 3/4 of an inch of sleet, and somewhere, give or take a little bit, about a third of an inch of freezing rain. But with the sleet coming down, it was hard to tell really how much freezing rain there was because it was all frozen together with that layer of sleet. So, anyway, that being said, we were without power for about 43 hours. And I want to thank so much the line workers that are out there doing their thankless job. Man, that is just amazing. They do a job, and I know several of them that have been nonstop. I mean, it's just unbelievable the job that they do, and I sure do appreciate even having people come up from Georgia, the line workers coming up from Georgia and helping out, and I mean, it's just we help everybody helps everybody else when there's a disaster like this. Well, not a disaster, but when there's a storm like this. So, 43 hours, yeah, that wasn't too bad. I've been prepared. You live and you learn. You just live and you learn. And, our first power outage here was about 20 years ago, and, we kept warm with candles in the bathtub, but that's okay. We live and learn. And um, I've I now know kind of what to expect. So it's the way it works. And I also want to thank all the road crews and the first responders out there. Man, I'm telling you, they were going like nobody's business. Um, as working as hard as they possibly could to keep the roads clear and passable. And I know that, I've seen people complaining about it. Folks, it's hard to clear ice. It really is. And to be quite honest, in the morning, be careful if you have to get out early. There will be some black ice because today, even though we were right around 26 degrees with the salt on the roads, that was enough to melt, cause water to run across the roads, and it will refreeze tonight because it's going to be down pretty chilly tonight. Okay, so let's talk about this next system rolling in on Friday, because I know everybody's wanting to know about what on earth this thing's going to do. And WKYT put this out, and it's a really good representation of what this system will probably be doing. Now, my friends living down here in North Carolina, Raleigh, on all that area, friends and family, folks, I'm telling you, this one could be your big ice storm. It really could be. There's a good chance of that happening. Please listen to your locals down there. I've been looking at the models and watching what it's doing, and it's showing for you all here in North Carolina, especially right here in the foothills, the eastern foothills of the Appalachians. It's showing quite a bit of ice accumulating. So, get prepared, get some gasoline for your generators, get out your snow blowers and everything else. So, be ready for it. It's coming. And this stretches on back all the way to Louisiana. This is a big system. Now, the latest model runs doesn't have a second low attaching to it. So probably not as widespread northward as this particular drawing represents. For my friends in Tennessee, it does look to be a mostly snow event as of right now. Maybe a little bit of ice here and there, but I think for the most part, mostly snow, even in Memphis and other places like that. So, keep an eye out. Now, for us, right here in good old central Kentucky, it'll be snow. Only 6 feet of snow. Sorry, just kidding. Okay, so not a ton. I don't think so. Right now on the models, we're looking at less than the first one that we just had. That I'm all for that. Less than this big system we just had. I'm great with that. So let me go on to the next slide if it will here. Or maybe not. I don't guess it like that I drew on it. Oh, there we go. So, what does the model say, oh great wizard? Let's find out. So, here we go. This is what I want to do first. So, looking at this. Now, here's the low right now. It's down in Mexico. Now, that low is going to slowly move off in this direction. Okay? That's what it's going to do. It's going to go off in that direction. And watch as time passes here. It'll disappear and it'll jump around, but that's the model bias for you. It happens. Um, so, and okay, it's beginning to get going here. This last run of it has the low kind of hanging out here, but the low is actually going to be up around in here by now, by at that point. So as you can see, it's developing into a pretty significant storm system. Maybe even a tornadic outbreak down in Dixie Alley again. I don't know that for sure, and the models aren't saying it yet, but they are saying some pretty intense stuff down there, and you'll see that as it goes through, because you can already see there's this big yellow core here. That's pretty intense precipitation. Now, as we go on east, this particular run has it a little too far to the south, farther than what I think it's actually going to do, because right now it's having the low scoot along this way. I think the low is going to come more along the Tennessee border in this area, and that's where the significant icing will occur, and that would put it right along the Appalachian Mountains where I drew a second ago. And as you can see, it does put some icing down, but it waits until the low gets over here, throwing it backwards. It probably would be snow at that point, but it's seeing some remnants of what it tried to do in the last several runs. But that's how that low is going to track, just like that. Let me back it up here and I'll play it through. And you can see, yeah, it's a pretty significant system. Now, you can see it throws a lot of moisture toward us. The earlier runs tried to get this low up here. Let me circle it. Tried to get this low and this low a little closer together. If that would have happened, that would have really given us a lot of precipitation. But I don't think we're going to see that happen. I think this low is going to either be too far to the north or hang too far back to the west. So let's look at some actual model data. Now, from this far out, and this is a pretty good distance out, these numbers are not set in stone by any stretch of the imagination, but I want you to look at the trends. So, like right here is where we're at, okay? This is where we're at. We've got 3.5 inches. Okay. This is on the European model, 3.5 inches. A new version of the Canadian, about 2.5 inches. The GFS is the most robust, around 4 inches of snow. The Icon model, about 4 inches of snow. The UK Met, about an inch of snow. So, that being said, if you take all of those models and average them together, then you get somewhere around 2 to 4 inches of snow for us. You know, that's not that big of a deal. But that's right now, okay? That is right now at this point in time. Maybe, 2 days from now, well, 2 days from now, it may be more. But right now, between 2 and 4 inches. And that's my first call for that, to kind of say 2 to 4 inches out of this system coming for the weekend. That's less than the one we just had. No ice with it at all. All right, that's it. That's what I have. Don't want to take any more of your time. Thank you all so much for stopping by and listening to my video. Remember, you can hear me on 104.9 FM WSKV in the mornings. Well, actually throughout the day, given the weather. And you can also see my 7-day forecast in the Powell County Patriot newspaper. So stop by and pick you up a copy of it somewhere. It is a really good little newspaper. All right. Thank you all so much. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Love you all, and so does Jesus.